man was at the county courthouse in Charlottesville, Virginia this week. Charges against him had just been dismissed. A judge had just ruled there was no evidence the man had committed any crime. The man, he's a house painter. He was told that he was free to leave the courthouse. And then this.
Show us a warrant signed by a judge.
Sir,
You don't have a warrant.
sir,
Show us a warrant for his arrest.
we are officers of the Homeland Security, sir.
You don't have a warrant signed by a judge.
So what is going on here is that that Trump's Trump's immigration agents here are arresting this man at this courthouse in Virginia. This video was obtained by the venerable newspaper in Charlottesville, the Daily Progress. And again, there are no criminal charges pending against this man. The case against him had just been dismissed. He had shown up at the county courthouse as required, and Trump's immigration agents took that opportunity to grab him. The agents who arrested him were not wearing uniforms. One of them was wearing a mask. The lawyer who represented the man they arrested, the lawyer says the agents did not show any form of ID. They did not present an arrest warrant. They did have handcuffs, though, and they handcuffed this guy and put him in the back of an unmarked van. To everybody who saw what was happening, it looked very much like a kidnapping. And that was actually one of two arrests made by plainclothes, masked immigration agents at that same county courthouse in Virginia this week. The lawyer telling the Daily Progress, quote, "It's horrifying for the person being detained this way. It's horrifying for the community members watching it." And you saw that right away. People came out and protested outside the county courthouse in Charlottesville right after immigration agents showed up there to start taking people. This is just an instant pressure point for this community. It was a pretty big turnout, too. Masks plus no ID equals abduction. I mean, it makes sense in terms of how quickly people were willing to literally take to the streets over this, right? Everybody needs to be able to go to court, no matter what your immigration status is. Maybe you're the victim of a crime. Maybe you're a witness in an important case. Maybe you're a defendant. If people are too scared to come to court now because Trump's immigration agents are lying in wait at court to arrest them, then courts will not be able to function fairly or effectively for anyone. Judges are responsible for the safety of everybody who appears before the court for any reason, right? For the safety and security of those people so they can do their lawful business before the court. If Trump's immigration agents are staking out courthouses to grab people, to kidnap people, once they show up to take part in a lawful court proceeding, that stops judges from fulfilling their responsibilities under the law for what happens with their cases and in their courtrooms. Now, this was also a point of tension in Trump's first term. In Trump's first term, he also sent immigration agents to go to try to arrest people at their court appearances. And it was a flashpoint then. State judges have a duty to ensure the safety of the people who appear before them in court, whether as plaintiffs or defendants or witnesses. Well, today, a whole new level. Today, the FBI arrested a county judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. According to the FBI, this judge knew that Trump's immigration agents were outside her courtroom waiting to arrest a man who was before her court. They say she sent the immigration agents away from her hearing room and then escorted the man and his lawyer out of the courtroom through a private exit. For that, the Trump administration has arrested her and charged her with 2 felonies. She herself arrested, brought before a federal court, and then released today on her own recognizance. Her attorney says that the judge intends to defend herself vigorously. He says she looks forward to being exonerated. But if this feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge, I will tell you, you are not alone. It sure felt like that to lots of people in Wisconsin today. People who showed up outside the federal courthouse in Milwaukee after the judge was arrested. More than 100 people out there today on no notice on a Friday in the middle of the day to emergency, spontaneously show up and protest the arrest of this judge in Milwaukee. Just instant reaction to this bright new line that's been crossed by Trump. It's being treated as a crisis by members of Congress, too. This was Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin today. He said, every American should be deeply troubled by this massive escalation. This is an unmistakable descent further into authoritarian chaos. Joining us now is Congressman Raskin of Maryland. He's the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee. Sir, thank you so much for being here. I know it's a really busy time.
Delighted to be with you, Rachel.
Let me ask you if any of the way that I explained that sort of seems the wrong way around to you, or if it seems like I'm putting the emphasis in the wrong place. It seems to me that Trump having a judge arrested is a reckless and desperate move. It seems to me like, yes, there are connections to previous flashpoints and tensions that Trump has raised in even his first term by trying to put federal immigration agents into state courts. But to me, this mostly just seems crazy.
Well, I regard it very much within the prism of what we've been dealing with over the last month, which is an intense assault on judicial independence. They have been disobeying federal court orders systematically. They have incurred criminal contempt findings in the courtroom of Judge Boasberg, a conservative Republican judge. They have been demanding the impeachment of judges who rule against the lawlessness of the Trump administration. There are now more than 90 preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders against the chaos that's been unleashed on the country by the Trump administration. And now they're arresting judges. And the first felony criminal charge brought against Judge Hannah Dugan in Wisconsin is interfering with a legal proceeding, which is essentially what they've been doing all along. What Judge Boasberg is about to hold them in criminal contempt for, and has found that there is probable cause for criminal contempt, is that they deliberately ignored and defied his order not to take off in those airplanes headed for El Salvador and not turning the airplanes around. So on the logic of this arrest of Judge Dugan, all of the people in the Trump administration who participated in defying that order by Judge Boasberg themselves could be arrested for interfering with a legal proceeding and perhaps other criminal charges like kidnapping, as you were suggesting before.
You have said that the independence of the judiciary has to be defended. You said we must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary in America. Obviously, there's this individual case of this judge. There's also potentially the intimidation factor towards all judges, right? That this has an effect on trying to scare and intimidate judges into not ruling against Trump or otherwise acceding to Trump and the Trump administration's demands. When you say we must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary in America, what do you think that we should do? We've seen people instantly and spontaneously react by going to the courthouses, by going to the streets to protest. Do you think that matters, and what else do you think could?
Well, absolutely. I mean, everybody who aspires and attains to public office in America, regardless of which branch they're in, is just a servant of the people, and the people need to manifest their outrage about these assaults on judicial independence. The first branch of government, the legislative branch, Congress, must do the same thing. We must reject all of these attacks on individual judges, some of which have led online to violent threats and death threats. There was a bomb threat made against Justice Amy Coney Barrett's sister, and there have been lots of threats made against judges, but we've got to defend them against that, and we've got to defend them against impeachment. There have only been 15 federal judges impeached in our entire history, always for corruption charges like bribery or tax evasion, never because somebody in government disagrees with the content of their opinion. As Chief Justice Roberts said just a few weeks ago, the proper response to disagreement with district court's opinion is to appeal the opinion, not to impeach the judge. So there's this constant vilification and demonizing of the judges that we've got to turn around. And obviously, arresting a county court judge in Wisconsin is a dramatic escalation of these tactics.
A dramatic escalation, and one I think that will escalate the kind of response that they get as well. I think that it was a shock to the system, I think, when people saw those headlines today. That's why people got out in the streets. I mentioned that people went out and protested in Milwaukee outside the courthouse today. People went out to other federal buildings and other federal courthouses, including Minneapolis today, to protest. I'm not sure that they recognize they've bitten off more than they can chew here. But we shall see. Congressman Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say the country is rediscovering the two most beautiful words in the English language, due process, because that's what separates us from being a free society with real rights from becoming a dictatorship.
Congressman Jamie Raskin, it's good to have you here, sir. Thank you so much for your time. All right, we've got more news ahead here this very busy Friday night. Stay with us.